Good evening, I'm Angie Jade and welcome to Real, a program that sheds light on Melbourne from the perspective of young Melburnians. In this week's episode we are looking at people just like you. Kind of. It goes without saying there is always something eventful happening in our beautiful city. Many like to play sports, collect things or play games. However, there are some activities that are a little more diverse. And following our series theme of adversity and diversity, tonight we explore the weird and wonderful things that some people like to do in their spare time. With that in mind, let's get into the swing of things, and our friends at the National Institute of Circus Arts know a thing or two about swinging. Whether they're under the big top alongside clowns, monkeys, ringmasters, or on a stage of their own, we can all agree the exhilarating rush of watching the acrobats is nothing short of extraordinary. But have you ever wondered what it takes to become one of these amazing acrobats? Yoga, weightlifting, hours in the gym and hours in the air. It definitely isn't a walk in the park. But our friends at NICA make it possible for aspiring performers and even the regular person seeking a pastime to get involved in the recreation of acrobatics. From a warehouse in the Melbourne Docklands in 1999, NICA is the institution for anyone aspiring towards a career in circus performance, offering Australia's only accredited certificates in circus arts. With NICA now offering short courses and workshops for anyone keen to experience the daily routine of an acrobat, you certainly no longer have to run away to join the circus.
Cloud swing is it's about an 8 metre long rope where both ends are attached to the roof, so it hangs down like a U shape. And I stand on that and swing back and forth and do all sorts of tricks. My name's Tom McKinnon. I'm from New South Wales and I'm a third year student at NICA in Melbourne. NICA has short courses here. It's for kids, it can be an after school activity sort of thing, that instead of like as an alternative to playing football or something. So they can come here and do all sorts of different classes. And then we have ones for adults as well. And they love it, and no particular background or anything required. Anyone can come and do it. There's something for everyone.
It is not every day that we come across someone who's passionate about monkeying around. All that swinging and twirling has got my head spinning. When the words young and cars are put together, you instantly think reckless hoons. But that is just stereotyping, and car modification, also known as modding, is anything but reckless. There are many people out there who spend time hoarding for rims, dislocating suspension and adding other features to make their car stand out. For some people, cars have become a canvas through which they are able to express themselves like painters. In the last decade, the development of new technologies have given car lovers the opportunity to modify vehicles, a whole new experience. The Real team ventured to the Fresh Fitment Garage in Geelong to meet car enthusiast Michael Luong and to find out why people modify their cars.
Hey guys, welcome to FFG. My name is Michael, founder of the Fresh Fitment Garage. Well, my first car was a Honda Prelude, which my auntie actually gave to me. And that's sort of where I got my inspiration from. I pretty much built that from like ground up, put some like rims on it, exhaust, suspension, make it look different to all these other cars around, just like compared to all the Commodores, Fords, they're just all standard. All my brothers and sisters are all into Jap cars. And, yeah, the reason why that got me into it, just the culture, everyone's sort of easygoing. I enjoy just modifying cars just because it's a way of expressing myself, I reckon. The car has that much heritage. It's just great.
Well, I guess modifying cars certainly spins some people's wheels. I think it'd be too exhausting for me. You really have to have the drive for that. Early this year, you may have seen some unusual characters roaming the streets of Melbourne. No, they didn't mix up their Halloween dates. They were attending the first Australian Oz Comic Con convention. Over the span of 2 days, thousands of avid science fiction enthusiasts gathered at the Royal Exhibition buildings to participate in various sci-fi related activities, including the art of cosplay. Short for costume playing, cosplay is the act of wearing certain costumes and accessories to embody a fictional character. Conventions such as AusComicCon provide a platform for these cosplayers to interact with each other and showcase their costumes to the public. It is a hobby that brings all types of personalities together, such as cosplayer Steph Elkington. We sat down with Steph in her Star Wars-inspired Twi'lek costume to talk about the experience of cosplaying.
Hi, my name's Steph and I'm a cosplayer from Melbourne, Australia. I started cosplaying about 2 years ago. I went to the first Melbourne AusComicCon. I sort of just started getting into cosplay after I'd been to a few conventions. I had heaps of people wanting to take photos with me, which was something I'd never experienced before, and that was just so positive and wonderful for me. The attention generally at conventions is quite positive. It's quite easygoing and busy and bustling, and there's lots of people that just want to hang out and talk about things and have fun sort of getting into the stuff that they're in on a whole new level. It's a pretty great community to sort of involve yourself in.
Any reason to put on a costume, be someone fictional for a day? I'm definitely in. I guess that's one hobby that really allows you to escape reality for a bit. After the break, we'll be taking a look at some more dress-ups. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back to Real. Well, when it comes to old traditions, men wearing makeup and dressing up as women is nothing new. In fact, in many early theatre traditions, such as Elizabethan theatre, women were forbidden to perform on stage, requiring the man to doll up and play the woman. Drag is believed to stand for dressed as girl and was used by Shakespeare to specify roles in which gender swapping was required. These days, when we hear the word drag, we picture a man dressed in extravagant clothing and makeup, lip-syncing for their life and dancing on a stage. But have you ever heard the term bio queen? Females impersonating men as drag kings is nothing new. But what about a female dressing as a male dressing as a female? Don't worry, it is confusing. Bio Queen Bella Nitrate, winner of the 2013 Destiny's Drag Race competition, gives us an inside look into the life of a bio queen and her experience in the drag scene. Let's take a look.
In Melbourne's gay scene, they say drag is a man's world. We have met an exceptional young performer named Bella Nitrate, a bio queen who has taken this club scene to a whole new level.
The term bio queen or faux queen means female dressing as a male dressing as a female, so a female drag queen. Most of them do, which is amazing, and I'm really grateful to be accepted into the community of drag like I have been. My sister's in Melbourne for one. Then there's of course the great RuPaul, like that's a big inspiration of mine. Also the bio queens in America in particular. We've got Miss Holly McGrail, a couple of others that are just, they're really amazing. Showtime!
I must say, it is a breath of fresh air to see a woman making it in a man's world. We wish Bella all the best of luck in her future endeavours. While her initiation into the world of drag was for the most part welcoming, one cannot ignore the adversity faced in the recreational activity of drag performance, both on and off the stage. And adversity in recreation is nothing, neither new nor exclusive to the drag scene. In Vicky Wood's documentary Pole Warrior, the women at Pole Princess Reservoir demonstrate the nitty-gritty of an activity that was once widely panned as merely sexual and risque. Although the attitudes towards pole dancing are slowly changing, the immense physicality and focus required by these women is definitely underestimated. Following the documentary, I will be joined by Dr. Philippa Rothfield from La Trobe University to discuss the changing attitudes towards recreational activities.
Pole dancing does not equal stripping.
Well, it starts just as like a fitness regime, but then it eventually kind of gets addictive and just takes over your life.
Definitely a part of pole dancing that isn't glamorous.
You do get a lot of bruises, you teared skin, calluses on your hands, calluses on your legs.
Especially with my students, I see that they've got bruises, some people have got cuts and stuff, and grazes. You know, I know sometimes when I'm doing the routine, like you look so uncoordinated and unco, like it's meant to look good, but it doesn't, but you know that you're going to get better.
I love advancing, so that's the best thing for me, I think.
You can't judge until you've tried it, so if you think it's taboo, you think it's risque, give it a go and you'll see it's really not.
With pole dancing, it never really gets easier, you just get stronger.
Once people try a class, there's a whole different respect for it.
As soon as you give it a go and you realise what it entails, you can never look at someone grinding on a pole the same, so it's not the same.
Hi, my name's Frances. I'm a pole instructor here at Pole Princess Reservoir. I love pole dancing, I love everything about it. I made it my goal to become a teacher by 2013 and luckily enough I was given a job here in November 2012.
Hi, my name's Karila. I'm 25. I've been pole dancing for almost 3 years now. I started back in 2010 as a student pole princess. During the day I work in admin and then at night I teach pole. It's really fun.
My name is Steph, so I'm 25 years old and I own my very own Pole Princess pole studio in Reservoir.
My name's Michelle. I'm currently studying psychology at Deakin University. I've been doing pole dancing since the start of this year, so the start of 2013. When I started pole dancing, I found that it just gave me a reason to try and go to the gym and maybe get stronger so I could see improvements.
You start to plan your life around pole dancing events and pole dancing classes. It changes the way you look at yourself. I think it's just something about it, like you just feel a little bit more sexy and a little bit more confident and just kind of proud of what you can do.
I think one of the main reasons why I started to pole dance was basically when I was a kid, my mum put me into ballet and gymnastics like most little girls. I was always quite a flexible person, so they sort of pushed me really hard and made me really hate it. So it's always been in my nature to like that sort of thing. I just didn't like the pressure that's put on you from gymnastics, and so pole had like a bit of more of an appeal to me because it's something that you do in your own time for your own benefits. So it was always there, and I loved it from the beginning. I didn't have any hesitation to start pole dancing. The stigma of pole, it's definitely fading.
Absolutely, it exists. You go into the strippers, there's poles there. That's where this stereotype comes from. But the thing is that it doesn't really bother me because I know who I am and that's all that matters.
I've never really cared about what anyone thought. The only thing that I was thinking was, oh my God, am I going to be able to do it?
Yeah, there's definitely a stigma attached with pole dancing that people just link it in their minds with dancing in the strip club. Not that I think there's anything wrong with that. It's completely different. I think people are a little bit closed-minded about the whole thing. They don't really get it. To be honest, I don't really care what people think about me. I love doing it and I'm not going to stop doing it just because people think it's slutty or whatever. I know I'm not being a slut when I'm doing pole dancing. That's what I want to do, so I'm not going to ever stop doing it.
When I first told them, they were just kind of like, oh no.
She came in and told us she was going to buy a pole for pole dancing.
And they know that like my friend's done pole dancing and stuff, and yeah, like they're the older generation, they do see the stigma and the stereotype that's attached to pole dancing, but they know who I am and they know that I'm not going to use it to exploit my body.
I've never thought of pole dancing as anything other than sleazy bar work for sleazy girls, because those were my initial thoughts on pole dancing. As long as she feels comfortable doing pole dancing, absolutely happy about it.
It's quite creative. You're using your brain to coordinate your body, and obviously you're building up your muscles and strength, and it's probably having a lot of fun, which I think that's important to keep your exercise program up. But certainly as a young person, I think she can have some huge benefits, as long as she doesn't go to the nightclubs.
It's not up to others that aren't doing it to decide how women feel about doing pole dancing. Not everyone has to do a sexy move. Some people are contemporary. I don't see why it would be objectifying women if they're doing what they love and enjoying it.
The sexy aspect is something that definitely can be helped by wearing shoes. You don't have to dance in high heels, but I do think pole dancing is sexy, and it definitely does look prettier in high heels.
The central part of pole dancing really isn't that important to me at all. I'm really there for increasing my coordination, my fitness.
I think if it's to do with progressing in pole dancing or competing or becoming professional, then I think the sexy part of it really does disappear. It becomes very much like a sport. So and not that there's anything wrong with doing some sexy body rolls in your routine, but they really don't have much of a place anymore.
For me, I enjoy the sexy side of it, and that's the style that I like, and a lot of the pole dancers I admire definitely have that sexy aspect to their style. I think the reason everyone loves it so much is just because it's so much fun and it's a workout, and you're doing exercise but not even realising it. When you're starting out, you see the older groups doing stuff that you think, wow, I'll never be able to do that, and it's just amazing to be able to see that you can. If it is an outlet, I'll sometimes come into the studio and be having a bad day, and at the end of my classes I just find I'm just in the happiest mood ever.
I built a lot more strength during pole than I ever did from any kind of other form of dance. I got to the point where I could sort of lift weights a lot heavier than what most females my weight and size could do, so that was really awesome for seeing that. So I got a lot stronger. I got a lot more flexible as well. I was always able to do the splits and I had a really bendy back. From doing pole, I've gotten a lot more flexible than I was when I was actually a little girl.
I think the reason for me why pole dancing is such an addictive and fun sport is because it's very goal orientated. You're setting goals every week and achieving them, and I think that's what makes people keep coming back for more. Every week you learn a new trick that you need to conquer, and your body can just do it. You build up the strength slowly and gradually, and eventually you can do all of the tricks.
You never get to the point where it just stays the same, constantly changing.
Pole is like evolution, you know, it's always evolving, it's always changing.
There's never a point where you can say, right, I've clocked all the levels of pole dancing or anything. It just keeps going and going, and you just get stronger and stronger. I think there's always ways for you to push yourself.
What an amazing insight into a much maligned and misunderstood sport. Recently, the International Pole Sports Association discussed possible regulations in hopes that the sport will soon become a recognised category in the Olympic Games. With all the strength, concentration and agility required, those women certainly deserve a gold medal. I am now joined by Dr. Philippa Rothfield from La Trobe University to talk about the changing attitudes towards these recreational activities. Welcome, Dr. Rothfield.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today. Do you think that the phenomenon of young women learning ballet is feeding into the trend of pole dancing?
Yeah, very much. I think so many young girls do ballet in Australia, and here the pole dancing is a chance for ex-ballet girls to move on and do something where they work hard, they dance hard, and then they can show their stuff.
And something they kind of enjoy at the same time.
Oh, there's a lot of pleasure in it. It's the pleasure of hard work, nuance, and female display.
Absolutely. Do you think that pole dancing is seen to be quite sexualised today?
What's the pole? What about the legs? There's a lot of splits, there's a lot of open legs. It's done in like little bikinis, there's little bums poking out, pretty much like the ballet tutu.
Yep.
And the lighting is strip club lighting, then there's the dance, there's the tossing of the hair. So, I think it's very sexualised.
It's a big part of the culture today. It's everywhere.
It's not just sexualised women as objects. There's also female agency in the pole dancing,
right.
and that's the pleasure that they get. It's not just being looked at, it's actively doing something.
And, you know, probably the adrenaline rush and, you know, the endorphins going.
Well, that's always a pleasure in dance.
Of course,
you know, that work, which you get in athletics and sport.
Have you noticed, a shift in kind of attitudes towards these kind of recreational activities these days?
Well, they call it raunch culture, I think. And, you know, that's sitting on an interesting divide between more sexualisation, which you get in all the music clips and all that kind of thing. But also there is a sense of kind of assertion of female agency.
Yeah.
So I think that might be different. That's might be why it's sort of busting out of the ballet mould, which is very 19th century.
I mean, the pole dancing phenomenon, it's just become, you know, it's everywhere now. You know, there's little studios in almost every suburb these days.
Well, you need a pole and not a lot else. So I think that makes it very doable. It's affordable.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Rothfield. It's been a pleasure. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for tonight. We hope that you have been entertained and inspired to go out and experience the weird and wonderful recreations of our city. I'm your host, Angie Jade, and thanks for keeping it real.